In the 50s, in a newly independent nation, what were the conversations you had and how that impacted your childhood and adolescence? You first, Sobha.
Sure, thank you. Well, I love to see a crowd like this. I wish we could see you more, but thank you, Shillong Lit Fest, for having invited us all. Here's to all my co-writers, to the organizers, to the volunteers, to Shahana, who I call my fifth daughter, and just everybody here for making us feel amazing, listening to us, giving us that kind of respect, the warmth, the hospitality, and as I said earlier, the power of the Shillong smile. It beats everything. The prettiest lit fest in the world. So thank you all for calling us here. Yes, to go back to what you asked, my father was a district judge at the time and working in a small court, a district court in Maharashtra, rural Maharashtra, where the British flag was naturally always flying in the compound. And I was still, my mother was expecting me. My older siblings were already born, and the older one was 11 years old at the time. The midnight, the speech, which my father was waiting to hear, as was the rest of India, as was the rest of the world, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's speech. This, of course, I was told much later. So they were waiting and, in a way, wondering what would happen in the courtyard, in the precincts of the court at the stroke of the midnight hour. And from what he tells the family, it was a moment that still sort of brings tears to my eyes and my hair stands on end. He said that they had to bring the British flag down, the Union Jack, and then our flag went up. As soon as it went up and the cheer and the Nehru's speech had just concluded, the small hills around Satara, where he was the district judge, suddenly lit up because there were people from the village with mashals who got up at midnight and it read Jai Hind. So for me, it's a very powerful reminder of what it meant for my parents' generation. And that I was born into free India was something, a privilege, because I know what it was like from what they told me earlier. And maybe it's a privilege I took entirely for granted. You take freedom for granted as you must, as you should, which is exactly what I did growing up. It never occurred to me that my siblings had known a very, very different India and a very different life. And all the things that I was taking for granted, the access to education that my father then shifted to New Delhi and joined the Ministry of Law Central, changed all our lives profoundly. So to answer you, that for me still remains the defining moment as to what being a child of the Republic actually alludes to in a very personal way.
Same question for you.
Sobha, that was really something that needed to be heard, because in my case, we were this periphery that had not joined India at that time. So the instrument of accession was signed by our ancestors in 1948. That was when we joined the nation called India. And I was born to a single parent, a single mother. We didn't have a radio, so we didn't hear much of the news. We really didn't know what was happening in the rest of the country. It is only later that we read that India had to accommodate 8 million refugees from Pakistan. And how this country has done it to find them a home, to find them